Hi everybody, my name is Josie. I am a Twitch streamer. I mainly stream Apex and play Apex. I am going to be dabbling into some new games and getting back into streaming. I am also a TikTok creator and I'm new to gaming or newer. I've only been playing for a few years. And so on this podcast, we have some guests that come in, and today we have Logan or CamoDarts, who's also a streamer and a big gamer. And so we're just gonna be chatting and talking about his journey and experiences. Logan, hey, welcome in. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Good to have you. Really what I want to first dive into, just because it's all about gaming and streaming, is I want to hear, talk to us about your journey, how you got into gaming. Everyone's story is different. How old were you? Why you've kept it up? I want to hear the whole history of your gaming.
Yeah. So I guess growing up as a kid, I didn't really have video games. My parents were very anti video games. My first console was I think it was a Sega handheld when I was 12.
What about Nintendos? Did you have Nintendo or anything, or no?
I had a Game Boy. I got it.
Okay.
So I used to have to fly. My parents were divorced, so I used to have to fly back and forth between parents' houses.
Yeah.
And so that was the first one was the Sega, which was this monstrosity that I got. And then eventually my parents bought me a Game Boy when I was little, and I fell in love with Pokemon. I played Pokemon as a kid. That was the only game I played. And it wasn't until I was in high school and I got a job that I could afford to go buy myself an Xbox. And I had this really crappy Xbox and a really crappy setup trying to figure out how to run internet so I could play games with friends. And then about halfway through high school, my buddy upgraded to building his first gaming PC, and he gave me his gaming laptop. And so I then fell in love with Team Fortress 2 was the game that I played.
Okay.
And then it kind of just moved from there. And eventually I just always loved it. And for me, it was not so much about the games themselves. It was more about playing with my friends.
Yeah.
And so then I eventually built my own PC. And then when COVID happened, I got laid off from work, and I had started to dabble in being a part of the Twitch community. And I had kind of involved myself into a couple of friend groups sort of. And then when I got laid off about halfway through 2020, I was well, I got nothing better to do. So I guess I might as well start, streaming and kind of diving a little deeper into it.
Yeah. So with your parents, when they didn't let you game, and then you said that you got a Game Boy, did they say, okay, when you can pay for your own stuff, then you can game,
they
and
were
that's
just,
when you buy your stuff? Or
no, there was no my parents just outright refused to contribute to any sort of video games.
But if you paid for it, was it okay? They're it's fine.
If I paid for it with my own money, I could basically do whatever I wanted.
Okay, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair.
But yeah,
how do they feel about it now? Are they surprised?
They still don't like it. No, my dad has gotten a little bit more understanding, and then it's mostly my uncle and my aunt, because they actually live close by to me now that I live in Colorado. And they just don't understand. They don't get it. They're like, those aren't your real friends. I'm no, you don't understand. I talk to these people. They're closer
than your real friends.
It's weird.
Yeah.
That is my biggest thing is anybody who plays video games online, and you have a group of people that you have played with for a while, whether it's through Discord or Xbox or whatever, is meet these people in real life.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that my gaming friends, the vast majority of them are closer to me and are more of my friends and more of my best friends and know more about me than half of my IRL friends.
Yeah. It's almost crazy. I didn't even realize the relationships that you could have from, and how they're almost even closer, what you were saying, to people than you're in real life. I don't know why. Do you have an idea of why you have such a stronger connection with some people online?
I think the pool of people that you are able to pull from is a much bigger pool.
Yes.
And so when
Good
you are
point.
already meeting people in a game that you enjoy, or say a Twitch stream that you enjoy, you're already finding people who like the same thing as you, which brings you the commonality. And then from there, you then develop a friendship with these people. Like, you develop a deeper friendship and a deeper connection, and you get to know them. Whereas your IRL friends are oftentimes friends from circumstance. They're just people that were, say, like, maybe from high school, like, where you were around them every single day. And so that's why you became friends. It wasn't based on a similar deal, I guess. And you had a much smaller group to pull from versus on the internet where there's everyone.
Yeah, you almost have more of a choice as well.
Agreed.
Yeah, you get to like choose. It's so crazy too, because you realize even though the gaming world opens up to a vast majority of more people, like all over the world, it's crazy how small of a world it is though. Like I was friends with somebody in France and they moved to Canada, and then they met some of my friends, or there was somebody who was in Australia, and one of my best friends to this day, he was like, I dated her. I was like, what? He's like, I saw you in her stream. And I was like, that's so crazy. And things like that. Like, you wouldn't even expect it,
Oh, absolutely not.
So it's like more vast, but it's also like a smaller world. So what would you tell kids now, being an adult and looking back, who have strict parents with video games? What would you, like, how would you respond to that? Or what would you tell them, what you wish you knew now, or go back?
I mean, moving past the obvious of, like, obviously you need to respect your parents and those things. I'd tell people, just pursue your passions. If something is something that you, like, if it's something you really want to do, and, like, say you want to get on Twitch or, whatever else, like, go for it. Obviously there are, some circumstances where maybe your parents just outright won't let you, in which case I'm not going to go tell you defy your parents. But like, if you have the means, like, if it's something you really want to do, and, like, if, for like my case, if your parents are willing to let you pay for it with your own money and it's what you want to do, chase it. Like, go, like, I tell people all the time that meeting my friends on the internet, which is a hilarious story.
I know.
But, one of the best choices I ever made, and I almost never made that choice.
Tell us the story.
So, 3 of now who are, like, some of my closest friends, Rue, Sheepy, and Blackacres.
Blackacres.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I had never. This is before you and I even had, like, become friends. I had kind of enveloped myself in a Twitch community, and they knew that I traveled for work, and Rue basically told me, he said, the next time you were in LA, let me know and let's go get a drink. And in my head, I went, strangers from the internet.
My first real encounter was someone in LA too. and the same thing, strangers from the internet.
I'm like, oh, do I want to meet like a stranger from the internet? Like, I'm like, what if they're a catfish? Like, what if this? What if that? Like, I don't.
What if they're a murderer?
Like, stranger danger, the classic.
Which you should be wary of.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't will it, like, if somebody's like, hey, you should come to my house. Absolutely not. Turn them on.
Be smart.
Like, please be smart. Please be safe. Like, I can't preach that enough.
Stay safe.
Like, and this may sound pompous or arrogant, but I'm like, I'm a male that could take care of myself. Like, I'll be fine. We're meeting up in a public area. It should be fine. Needless to say, I was still absolutely nervous. And I had never seen Acre's face before. I'd never seen Sheepy's face before. And quite honestly, I don't know that I'd ever seen Rue's face before. I don't think any of us knew what each other looked like.
Did you know their real names?
I didn't even know their real names.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's so crazy, is that, like, not only have you never seen them before, you also don't know their real names, and you're meeting up with these people, and they're some of your closest friends online. And just so everybody knows too, Camo and I, we met on online as well. And then we got to meet in person at just this past year, actually, not too long ago.
At TwitchCon.
Yeah, which is cool. But anyways, yes, continue.
Anyway, it was super crazy. I was super nervous, super scared. I drove down. I met them at K-Town for Korean barbecue.
Yes. Where'd you guys go? Wait, where'd you go? There's a really good Korean barbecue place in K-Town.
I don't remember the name. I would have to text Rue or Sheep Ear Acres. They are.
I was just curious.
If you guys are ever in LA and you want the food gurus, ask those three. They know every place ever. Like these little tiny hole in the wall places that you wouldn't even recognize was a place.
There's this Korean barbecue place that's like one of the best, and not many people know. But I think it's Haejing Chung or something.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. And it's like a hole in the wall secret one but I'm sure in K-Town there's a lot of Korean barbecue places, but that's a really good one. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been back there twice now. So I went there the first time and we've been back. Anyway, Rue and I were standing literally across the aisle from each other, texting each other, trying to figure out if we were both there.
Yeah. And you're scanning and you're like, okay, is it you? Or like, I could kind of see you match this voice. And then when the voices don't line up, you're like, ah. Okay.
Well, and this is also still during mask phase. Everyone's still wearing masks.
Oh, that's even.
So you can only see this part of my face, and you're meeting a stranger in public who you don't know. But I mean, we ended up hitting it off, and I still have a picture that I have saved from that night from the four of us. And it truly was the best decision. I'll send it to you.
I want to see it.
Truly one of the best decisions that I have ever made in my life.
Yeah.
That choice to meet them in person, not only solidified that okay, these people are who they actually said that they were. They actually in everything. But then that opened the door to for me to meet other people.
Yes.
And ultimately end up going to TwitchCon this year with a group of 30 deep.
So many, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just wild. It's wild to me still to just think about that I have all of these friends that I don't get to see every day, but I talk to them every day.
I would say with people who, you do want to be careful with stranger danger, of course, and especially if you're a girl, my ladies, be extra safe.
Yes,
am so careful. I'm very careful. I didn't even give my number out to you until I met you in person. I was I won't give my number out to anybody. I'll stay on Discord, and I'm very, very particular. And I definitely you want to meet in a public place. And because even still, there's plenty of normal people online and they're incredible. And we hit it off so well. I was I know for a fact we're going to be fine, but just the small chance.
Oh, yeah.
You could be some weirdo, always protect yourself and always bring somebody. But I think if you do it right, as long as you're safe, the risk though of it being a little awkward or maybe you do get catfish, as long as you're safe, the risk of it being awkward or catfish or not the best totally is worth it to meeting those people in real life and then being your closest friends.
Oh, absolutely. And especially if you are a woman or you are nervous, and this is obviously not anything against women, but
your gut or something.
Yeah, if there's something that just doesn't feel right, please go with somebody else. Bring a friend with you, bring, somebody,
family
significant
member.
Other, whatever. Don't show up alone.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. I think so. It's so funny too because my other super close friend that I met online, who I got to meet at TwitchCon as well, which was so cool. And TwitchCon's a great place too, to where if you're kind of iffy about meeting people, but see if you can meet everybody there, because then it's just an event for all streamers, all gamers. Yeah. It kind of takes the pressure off. It makes sense while you're there. On the same note, which you were there for, and I'm not going to name names, but so as much as you get along with people online and have friends, there's always, especially if you're a streamer, and you know this very well, Camo, from being moderators in people's chats, your own, seeing it, and even what happened with us. If somebody gives you kind of a weird vibe to where it's not enough where you want to ban them in your chat, but it's just something where it's sometimes they say things or I don't know. In person, that was also amplified. Yeah. So if somebody slightly throws you off online, then when you meet them in person, they're probably going to be freaking weirdos, which is what happened with us. It was so uncomfortable, like with one person, but we were the whole group of people. We could ignore them. It was fine. But you want to be careful just as much as when you meet somebody cool online and you think that they're really good friends. As long as they're who they say they are, that's usually amplified as well. Mm-hmm. So it goes both ways.
Well, yeah, and I think what also helps with that too is like, don't meet somebody on, like, if you're in a Twitch chat tonight and somebody's like, "Oh, I live in your same area, let's hang out."
Yeah,
like,
no,
run.
Yeah.
But like, if you have talked to this person for like, I don't know, say like a month in a Twitch chat, and then like maybe you follow each other on Instagram, maybe you follow each other on TikTok or whatever else, you can kind of get a feel for a little bit of who this person is. Now, I'm not saying everything on the internet's real, obviously, but like you can get a little bit of a feel before you meet this person too. It also helps too if somebody who you already know really well can like vouch for that person.
Yes, and which again goes back to it being a small world. And usually, if you meet somebody in a game and then they say, "Oh, like if you're talking with them and you guys hit it off, you can say, "Oh, who do you watch on Twitch? Or are there any Twitch people?" And then if you guys are in that Twitch community and then you're talking to other people, or if they have a friend that they play with and their friend's cool, then like you can kind of, it's more than just like the community spreads as well. So as long as everything's good, but if there's loners completely, I agree. I think that's a good way to look at it, or to like, get a better idea.
Even like you're in my situation, for example, like elders. We both know elders like pretty freaking well.
And Shotgun, you know?
And MLG as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's, they're like, you knew them, I knew them,
You know everybody. Camo, you've done such a good job.
Honestly, I have no idea what, like, I have told people this. MLG brings this up all the time. He's like, he's like, everyone invites you to play games. And I'm like, I don't know what I did. Like, I'm just a guy.
Mr. Popular over here.
Like, I'm just a guy. I just showed up and I'm just like cool with people. I don't know.
I have to say, I think you do such a good job. I don't know if it's your personality, and I kind of want to see if you can explain it, but you are one of the best. I don't like using networking as a word necessarily, but it is networking. Like, usually, sometimes networking, I think there's two ways about it. There's a way to network to expand your current group, and then some people network just to social climb or to have an agenda. You definitely are not the latter. You totally just network. You have a lot of people, and you have networked with some higher level people who you could social climb with. So like, how did you learn to network, or what would you say with people who are trying to expand their network in a good way? And maybe if you're intimidated by somebody who's a bigger streamer than you, like how do you go about that? That's a couple questions. So
so I guess first of all, I would say I don't have a great answer for like how I learned to network.
I know, it's just you. Like it's just you.
But I can explain, I guess, like what I've done.
Yes, that would be good.
And I think the biggest thing for me is that I am just like, I'm just me. Like I don't try to be anybody that I'm not.
Yeah.
And you are going to get the same me, whether it's online or in person. Like I am the same person.
True. I can vouch for that. Yep.
And I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to like it. To me, it's just like, I treat people the way that I would hope that they would treat me. I guess that's like the golden rule. Like, yes, I have made friends with like some bigger streamers, but it was never, I didn't go clout chasing, I guess is the 2022 term for it. It was never my objective to go out and like gain followers or whatever else. Like that was never, my whole thing was like, I want to make friends. Like I want to be friends with people. I want to have a good time. I want to be able to play games with people that I enjoy playing games with. And so that's kind of just where it went. And so for me, it was never about like, oh, this person has this many views, I want to make sure that I'm playing with them or whatever else. Like,
I know some people that do that. It's a huge turnoff. And honestly, I think that that's going to defeat the purpose of, like, if you were trying to clout chase, that's not how you do it. You just have to be authentic.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand why people would even want to be friends or try to force themselves somewhere if they don't get along. So I have an issue, like the opposite issue, and I think some other people do, where even if I'll start to become kind of friends with somebody who's a bigger streamer, Then me, I am always weird about it because I don't want to make the first gesture because I'm like, I don't want them to assume that I
I
just
don't
want
want
something.
anybody to think that I'm clout chasing or that I'm only there because of your
Yeah,
status.
exactly. So how do you like, I feel like you do a really good job with that. Do you just not care like who they are or what level they're at? And if they're a friend, they're a friend. Is that like,
I think
what would you
my
say?
thing is more just like if we're I guess like if we vibe for lack of a better term, or
You
like
vibe.
we're just like cool and like we're friends, like I'm just gonna want to play with you. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me whether you have 2 viewers in your chat or you've
Yeah.
got 20,000. I could care less.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that to me is like I look at some of these bigger streamers, and when you look at these people, like they have a community of friends that they play with.
Yeah.
And that in turn to me, like those people end up having bigger view counts because people come there not just for said streamer, but for the experience. And like to me, like a lot of people who I watch when they're playing with their friends, like I'm not just watching for them, I'm there for the entertainment and being a part of their funny conversation or whatever,
Yeah.
and typing, say a joke in chat that like makes people laugh or whatever. It's being a part of something that is bigger than myself, I guess.
Yes.
um and yeah, I guess it's just like I could care less if you've got 2 viewers or 20,000. It's not about that to me.
Even if you don't care, has it ever thrown you off though, or have you ever been like, I want to make sure that it doesn't come off that I'm clout chasing if there's somebody who has like 20,000, or do you literally like just completely separate the two where you just automatically like it doesn't even cross your mind? Has that ever happened or no?
I think that is a thought that crosses my mind where I don't want people to ever feel like I'm clout chasing, because to
Yeah.
me, like I will notice other people who look like they're clout chasing, and it's a
Yeah.
huge turnoff for me.
It's a huge
Like,
turn off. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because I don't want, like, without using names, there are people that I have been friends with, for instance, that
I think
I've
I know
played
what you're
games
talking
with.
about. Yeah. No names. No names.
Yeah, so like there are people that I'm friends with that I've played games with, and we no longer play games together. And it's
Yeah.
not for any lack of like me trying to play with them, but it's because like I'm not cool enough for them because I don't have like the views that they want or whatever.
Exactly.
And so to me, I'm just like, that's just so inauthentic.
Yeah.
And like if I'm gonna build a community and like build a Twitch stream with followers, like I want people who want to be there because they want to be there, not because of who I am or what I'm doing or whatever
Yeah.
else. I want you to want to play with me because you want to play with me, not because you want to play with me to whatever. And
Yeah.
and vice versa. I don't want to play with you because of your viewers or because of your followers. I want to play with you because I enjoy playing with you.
Yeah. So I think all in all, just straight up be your authentic self and just treat people as if they have 2 viewers, if they had 20,000 or a million or whatever. And then you don't ever have to worry about that. And if someone's going to treat you crappy, whether it's a 2 follower person or 20,000, just handle everything the same. And
Absolutely.
I think just being respectful. I feel like I overthink it because I try so hard. I'm like, I do not want to come off as a clout chaser. That is so like, ugh, but sometimes I won't even talk to people that I did hit it off really well with. And I could have just sent a message because I'm like, I hope they don't think that me sending you a message or being like, hey, thanks for this, it's coming off as needing something. But like that's gonna happen no matter what. And if you are authentic, people can usually see that it's authentic or that it's not. So
absolutely. And I think another thing that like I try to do, I guess, to combat that is like when I stream, for instance, I turn my view count off.
Oh yeah, me too. I used to not. And then when the numbers started dropping, and this is when I was streaming consistently because if anyone's a streamer too and they want tips, like consistency is key if you're trying to grow. There's also other things, but one of the biggest is consistency. Like I would even cancel plans with friends because I was streaming consistently. It made me so mad too when people would be like, oh, you're just a girl, like you get viewers or whatever. And I was like, have you streamed Monday, Wednesday, Friday for half a year straight, and then you message your community when you can't. And the second that I stopped being consistent is when I lost my viewer count, which is expected. But but for me, I needed that break, and my internet was crappy and so many other things that there was a reason. And now it's like, okay, when I start again, I'm gonna be consistent because I do want to grow and I want to help foster that community.
Absolutely.
I had a reason to it, but you have to be consistent.
Oh yeah, and the reason for that, it makes total sense. Like, you think about people, for instance, take television. People are used to, okay, every Monday night is when my show comes on and I'm going to sit down and watch my show.
Yeah.
You know, and so in a lot of ways, Twitch is the same thing to people. Like, that is their entertainment. That is their routine. That's where they go. And so if you're consistent and you stream every, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 p.m., whatever. Yeah. Like, people just know, and they have their, live notifications or whatever. Yes. So that live notification goes and they're in your chat. Like,
and it's like a habit.
Oh, my TV show's on. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like a habit. Oh, Josie usually streams at this time. Logan's usually streaming at this time. And when you're consistent too, if you can't make it for some reason, you're going to make it the next time. Or it's like, oh, in a couple days. The inconsistency is when you're like, oh, they just happen to be on, but then you can kind of like plan for it. And some people genuinely do. But yeah, when I wasn't streaming consistently and then my viewer count dropped, I totally turned my view count. And so many people, like, I heard so many people saying, turn it off. But I was like, no, it's kind of cool to see. Like, I like seeing it grow. And then once it starts dropping, you just get in your own head. And then you think like, well, what if it's me? And this is even when I was being consistent. Like, your viewer count's just going to fluctuate for whatever reason. It's not you. And it's the same thing too. Like, I think when you're a streamer and you're streaming authentically, so same thing with building friends and networking. If you're authentic, that's going to get you those better connections, because it's not your intention. And same thing with like streaming. If your only goal is to just get followers and get money, this is not the place for
Absolutely
you.
Not.
And you want to go because you enjoy it. And there's things that you can do to grow. Again, like being consistent, posting on other socials, networking with other people. There are ways to grow, but if that's your only thing, or money or something, that's not it. So being authentic both ways.
I mean, and just for like an example, again, not using names, but it's like, I know people who've been consistently stuck at the exact same level, and they have been super consistent, but it's because of that inauthenticness that people aren't getting, is why they just stick. They're stuck there with their same viewers that show up every single stream, which is fine. It's great. Like, you want those consistent viewers, but like, you're not growing because there's nothing bringing people there other than the people who have already been there.
Yeah, talking about being authentic and everything, and like people I love that too, even though we were just kind of joking. Like, if you don't like me, pound sand. Like, you really can't get too butthurt, especially in the gaming world, because people aren't gonna like you, or maybe a lot of people have issues with themselves and then they project it, and you could be fine with somebody and then it ends up breaking off, and like that kind of happens. You know?
I mean, there's even instances where like you do down the road find out that somebody's not who you thought they were, and then you have to cut them out. It's unfortunate, but you just do it.
How do you think the best way to handle something like that is to cut somebody out? The best way where it's not like, and also from a girl's perspective, because you've modded for a lot of girls, like you're friends with a lot of girl gamers too, so I feel like you also kind of know, and you're very good with people. So like, what would you say? And the reason I say girls' perspective is because I don't think people realize that if you reject somebody as a female online, some people can get a little crazy, and you can be at risk, right? And so you need to like set a firm boundary So you need to set a boundary, but without pissing them off, which I know is so shitty. Like, I hate the fact that we even have to deal with that. But if you do overly piss somebody off, it could be dangerous for you. So like, what do you think is a good way? Because I know you've dealt with some of those things. How would you handle that?
I think it depends on the situation, first of all.
For sure.
Because there have been multiple situations that have been handled differently.
Do you have one that you can think of that was good and you're like, okay, like that went well in a situation like that?
Yeah. So, for instance, there was a guy who was a mod in one of my friends' chats, and I was also a mod there. And this guy, she was a female streamer. This guy kind of started getting like kind of creepy and like very, very forward, and it was starting to get uncomfortable.
Her mod? It was her mod?
Yeah.
How long had he been a mod?
A few months. A few months.
So
she was, for the record, she's like pretty much brand new to streaming at the time. So like a lot of it was like inexperience. And so like it was a person that was around all the time. She needed a mod. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so like in that situation, what ended up happening is I basically told, like, her and I were talking about it, and I basically said, like, in my opinion, you can kind of go both ways. You either cut them out, you just ban them, be done with it, ban them off of everything, and just be done.
Yeah. But then they can make new accounts. People do that all the time.
Oh, that happened one night in her... Was that your stream or her stream? I can't remember. Where there was a guy who made like 6 accounts in one night.
Honestly, it's probably that's happened to me, but it was probably with multiple other people.
Yeah. I ultimately ended up having to contact Twitch and getting his IP banned, but that was
someone. Yeah, I think that was somebody else, but I've totally had that. Somebody made like a I hate Josie. They literally made an account with my name, so when you look up Josie Quinn, it's like Josie's a loser. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, this guy made like 6 accounts in a row, and it was like, I don't know, I don't remember what his name was, but it was like Chris 1, and then it was Chris 2, Chris 3, and like I was like, oh my goodness, and yeah, I had to eventually got him IP.
Something happened like that to me, but I don't think that you like contacted Twitch about it, or it wasn't with you. It was something else. So
no, I think they finally gave up.
Yeah,
I think they just finally gave up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of situations. I guess what ended up happening with that situation is she had a talk with him, removed his mod, removed like VIP everything. He was just a normal person again. And she had the conversation.
You know what she
and
said?
they were
like, how did she say it? Did you help her with what to say, or did she kind of let you know?
So it was kind of just like, hey, like this has been making me uncomfortable, like, and this yada 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 yada. For that reason, like, I'm removing you from being a mod. Like, being a mod is a privilege.
Yes.
And
you have to earn it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, being a mod in a lot of ways is a privilege, but it's like also like when you are a mod, you are representing that streamer as well.
Yes.
And so, like, because you're making decisions about what's happening in the chat on behalf of the streamer.
Yes, and you're responding as well. Yeah. Like, you're responding sometimes if you're not banning or however you handle that. It's so true. So true.
And so what's actually funny is he is now a mod in her chat again.
Okay. Did he
which is actually a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So had this chat. It's been like, I don't know, say 6-8 months since this incident happened.
Okay.
The guy still showed up to chat every single day. He still participated. Still was very like, and like changed. He like changed the way he was acting and the way he was treating her and stopped saying weird, creepy shit. And so like,
I don't think some people realize what they're saying. Like, or they think it's funny online, and sometimes you can't tell, or it's like different humor, and it's like know the room. And I love gamers, but sometimes they don't have the best social skills, even online. And so I do think I always feel so bad. Like, I feel like people always at least need a reason. Some people don't deserve that at all. You don't even need to owe them an explanation. But like, it's always so awkward because nobody wants to be told that they're doing something wrong, or that, like, imagine being told that what you were doing made someone uncomfortable. Like, that's going to hurt no matter who you are, but it's important to know, because if you've just never been told, then how are you going to change? And then it could help them with something else. So it's
exactly. Another like really, really, really important thing to remember, and I think a lot of people forget this, and it's the biggest reason that I hate texting. If you want to talk to me about something serious or like whatever else beyond just like very like small talk type of shit, call me.
Yeah.
And the same reason is like because of like Twitch chat. When you are texting in, whether it's phone or in a text chat, people cannot hear your tone of voice.
Not and me as oh my god, I'm the worst. I was talking about this with somebody else. I like when you're gaming and you're listening to music and you're trying to quadruple task already, and then somebody says something in chat as the streamer, your brain can't, like, I can't even compute sarcasm over message.
Oh, yeah.
At all. And I remember I'd watch back my VODs to get a clip or something, and I'd be like, oh, that's where that came in. How did I not notice that was sarcasm? And everyone's making fun of me, and they're like, whoosh, which it is funny, but sarcasm or even like another type of tone might be taken a different way. You're totally right. Like with the keyboard warriors or anything, nobody can tell.
Yeah, so I'm very guilty of saying some crazy sus things in people's chats.
Right. And just not, you're being innocent.
Yeah. However, like, it's because, like, that person knows me.
Yeah.
So it's like, when I say that in their chat, like, they know me, so they understand the tone of voice that I typed that as.
Yes.
But when you are a random in somebody's chat and they don't know you personally, and then you say some sus shit, like, they're going to be like, excuse me, like what?
Even something as like one of my really good friends, like one of my best people on my stream, he uses or he says that's what she said jokes all the time in writing. And there's one girl who, you know, I'm not gonna name names. It's the friend of the girl that we like who. She doesn't like him, and I'm pretty sure she like ignored all of his stuff because he would say that's what she said jokes, and to her she's like, I don't know you, that's uncomfortable, like it's not funny to her. But to me, I was like, oh no, I get it, and like I know him. But like even something like that, as harmless as a oh, that's what she said, it's like it can come off as creepy because you're like, why are you like, ew, get out.
Absolutely.
You know.
And that's another thing too, like along those lines, is like I try to avoid any sort of controversial topic.
Me too.
In people's Twitch chats.
I don't know why some people don't. I even said that in my, like, I make that a rule where if it starts to get heated, I'm like, we're not talking about this here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just not. And also because I think I'm a very central person in general. I know some people sway other ways, but, and I can understand, and I really try to understand both perspectives, even if it takes me some time, or even maybe like, I don't know, like I try to understand it. And when you're messaging or you're typing and there's a bunch of like feelings and emotion behind it, and you can't even get your point across, or maybe some things are not taken well, it's like, it's not worth it. Like, why are you even trying to have that conversation like that in a chat? It just makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like if you want to have those chats, there's a time and a place. Like make friends in Twitch chats, become friends in Discord, whatever. Yeah. Have those chats in a VC off stream.
Yeah. Or be like, hey, can I call you? I have a question about, I've done that with someone in my stream who I had a question about something that maybe is like a topic that is tough to discuss, but they were like the epitome of it, and I wanted to understand it from their perspective. So we had calls about it, and they were like, oh, I'm so glad that like we can talk about it. And I would say like, hey, I don't understand that because of this or whatever. And then I'd say, okay, well, I think this way. And it was very much back and forth, very cordial. And I took away some really great knowledge from that conversation. But if that happened on chat or like in live stream, that would have been just a complete disaster.
It would have been received entirely differently.
And then if people can clip you, I think people don't realize too, if you're a streamer, that gets clipped and it can be like traced back to you and how you handle it. And some people fish for those kinds of things. And then if they put a 10-second video on a TikTok and then you blow up in a horrible way and get canceled, and if that's like, woo, it can spiral, which you don't, nobody wants.
I mean, and there's countless examples of that, you know, out in the world. And it's like, I ain't trying to get canceled.
No.
Especially for something that I never intended to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. Right. They pulled something out of context. Like it's just
the out of context.
It's just best to just avoid it. Like if I can just avoid it, like I'm happy to have those conversations off stream.
I agree. But I think another thing that a lot of streamers talk about is trauma dumping. That like, and I know everybody has different opinions about it. Like I always want, for me at least with my stream, and everyone has different rules, everyone has different comfort zones. There are some people, like for me, a lot of streamers hate self-promo. They're like, don't come in my stream and self-promo. I literally don't care. I'm like, if you want to self-promo, fine. Even if you just came in and did, because I knew that people weren't just going to go and leave my stream for them. And if they did, then that's fine. But other people don't like that. And that's their rules. That's their stream. That's their boundary. And so some people with trauma dumping, like, it can be like you want to get it all out, but it's also like maybe not do that in front of everybody all the time. If there's one or two people that you talk to, then like send them a message, be like, hey, I'm not okay, can we chat? Or this is what happened, I need to vent to somebody. But a lot of streamers have had some really uncomfortable situations, and some of them even break down and they're like, I don't know how to handle this information. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not a therapist. Like, this is really intense stuff. And I'm not talking like I had a bad day. I'm talking like I've heard some crazy shit, which I'm sure you have too. And you're like, oh,
and you're like, what?
Yeah. And you're like, I don't know how to respond to this. And you're like in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, exactly. And
this is
so
awkward.
That's, as far as like it goes for me, it's like, if you come into my chat and I ask like, hey, how are you? Like, I genuinely want to know how you are. But sure. If you were about ready to trauma dump me and drop me a paragraph in my chat and I'm in the middle of a fight,
about something you should be talking to a therapist, like an actual therapist.
I want everyone to know, like, I am happy to talk to you. I am happy to listen. Mm-hmm. You know, and maybe even give you the best advice I can give, even if that advice is go talk to a therapist or go talk to some professional.
For sure.
But A, I'm playing a game. B, you are not the only person in the chat, most likely. You're not the only person
in the chat. Yeah, that's another thing.
So it's not all about you.
Yes.
And so, and 3, you don't know if what you were about to type in chat about whatever trauma you went through triggers somebody else.
Yes.
And so it's like, if
you said that so beautifully as to why trauma dumping is not the best.
Yeah.
You said that beautifully. That was so perfectly phrased.
Yeah. So like, if I ask you how you are and you're having a shit day, tell me, be like, I'm having a shit day. And if I, because I'm genuinely curious and because I genuinely care, I'm probably going to ask you, oh, why? Give me the short version, the 2
or be like, I'll tell you later, or we can. Yeah. I've had plenty of people be like, who said that word for word. I've had a shit day, and I'm like, oh, why? What happened? And they said, I'll talk to you later. Are you free after stream? And I'm like,
exactly.
I will make time for you, or I am now. I am free now after stream,
and I'm extra happy to make time for you when you say that, because what you just did was not only like respectful to everyone else in chat who may not really give a rip about what's going on in your life, no offense.
Yeah.
But also now I don't have to deal with that on stream of whatever it's going to be. And you have just also signified to me that this is more important than what should be said in a Twitch chat.
Yes.
And now when we have this conversation in Discord, I can actually give you my full undivided attention, which you deserve when you are asking somebody for help or asking somebody to listen to your problems.
I don't know why people do that. Maybe because it doesn't seem like they genuinely want. I think it is for a public thing, or maybe they want multiple people. I don't know.
I think part of it is the internet is a place where everyone can go and everyone has access to it in some degree. Like if you have like a computer or whatever, or if you're on Twitch. And so there are some people out there who may not have a support system. They may not have somebody to talk to.
There's a lot of people that don't, unfortunately.
And so I understand that. I'm not going to knock you for that. And if you were coming into Twitch to make friends, great. I am right there behind you. I'm cheering for you.
Come on
go
in.
Make
You're
friends.
welcome.
You're welcome
come make
here.
Friends with us. Yeah.
Exactly. But there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
And there's an appropriate time and a place for everything. I mean, I'm the biggest fucking goofball ever. Yeah. But there's also a time where I know that the goofball has to drop and I've got to be serious, and the maturity level has to come up.
Like when?
I don't know. It depends.
So you said that you're going to start streaming again because you streamed a little bit, and I know I catch occasionally in between all your travels and stuff. So
I'm the most inconsistent streamer. It's bad.
Yeah, you are, but it's because you travel so much. Also because I know you're not traveling as much anymore because you're raised. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But how did traveling affect your gaming as well, or maybe for people who don't have stationary, or for streamers, what would you say to them?
I mean, my gaming basically became limited to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night,
and
Saturday
sometimes not even then, though.
Oh yeah. So yeah, sometimes I'd have to be gone on a weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it impacted that, but I always had like my laptop, which isn't anything special. I can't run any games on it. Um, and not to mention hotel Wi-Fi is a whole nother problem.
Yes. Yeah.
But having that and having Discord has allowed me to stay connected to the people that I'm connected to.
Yeah. Do
And
you
so,
set time aside, or did it just happen naturally? Because for me, it's not instinctual for me to respond. And I feel like I get DMs, messages, like I'm constantly on email. I'm on every freaking, if you name it, I have that app on my Telegram, like Slack, WhatsApp. I'm on everything and I get notifications all the time. TikTok, Instagram, like, but I'm also a digital marketer and we have a team around the world. But so sometimes I'm exhausted. I don't want to respond to some people, or I don't have the time. And I feel like I miss out a lot and I feel guilty about it. But I feel like you always did such a good job, and you always do with that.
One, I don't think I get nearly as many messages as you do, and part of that is just because of your job.
Fair, okay.
I am a little less like annoyed by it, but like,
I don't get annoyed. I just feel like I can't keep up. I can't keep up, and then I feel guilty.
Keep up. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. And that's why, like, my go-to thing with everyone, and this is also just with my job and customers too. If you want to, if you need something, like, I need a text that says, like, I need you or whatever, or like, if you call me, you leave a voicemail. If you call me and you don't leave a voicemail, I ain't calling you back.
Yeah, why would you?
Exactly.
do people actually do that? Like, I would never call somebody back who didn't leave a voicemail.
I had an unknown number, which was a customer.
Oh my gosh.
Call me 4 times in a row in succession. If your name is not saved in my phone, I will not answer. And I tell everybody the same thing. If your number's not saved in my phone, I will not answer. First, you called me 4 times in a row and then complained to somebody that, like, somebody else in my work, that I didn't answer my phone. It was my boss. My boss comes to me and goes, "Why didn't you answer your phone?" And I said, "Here's my call logs. They called me 4 times in a row.
Unknown number.
Did not leave a voicemail, did not give me a text message, did not give me an email. I have no concept of what you want, what you need, or anything like that.
Who you are. Who you even are. Yeah.
And so the same thing goes for everything else. It's like, there are people who message me, and like, if you just want to small talk and I don't have time for small talk, like, you're not going to get a response for like 6 hours, maybe. Yeah. But I do really,
for me, it's
try.
Like a whole week.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
For me, it is a point of, like, if you reach out to me specifically and you're asking me a question, I will make it a point, whether it is now or in 6 hours when I'm available to, I am going to respond.
But when you reach out to people to stay in touch, especially with traveling, like, let's say, because there were times when you'd be gone for 2 weeks and you wouldn't game. And I know you've got like super close friends, but even with me, like, I felt like you always did such a good job messaging here and there. Does it just come naturally to you to, like, be like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so in a while, I'm going to just say hey, or like see if they are available for small talk or something?
Yeah. I mean,
and you deal with your online community is so large, and I feel like it only expands every day, because then you talk to somebody new and then you get involved in their community, and it's like, how do you keep up with all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, the people that are, I guess, important to me, or that, like, I enjoy being around or talking to, like, I'm trying to think of, like, an example, but let's just take you, for instance. Like, you kind of went dark and, like, weren't streaming anymore, and, you know, whatever. And I was like, okay, 3 months has gone by. She hasn't streamed. I haven't talked to her or played games with her. I would consider us friends. Let me just send her a message and be like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Like, are you alive? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably go back and count how many times I straight up texted you. Are you alive?
I do that with people too, honestly, if it's been a while. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, I guess for me, I don't really put much thought into it. It's just like, I'm like, oh, I kind of like miss this person and I haven't seen him in a while. Like, let me just check in.
Naturally.
Like, are you alive? How you doing? Like, it just kind of comes naturally.
Yeah.
As far as like me traveling, like, I get stuck and I'm just in a hotel room and I'm bored out of my mind. So I
True.
just hop on my laptop and I'm like, let's see who's in Discord.
Or who's streaming.
Yeah,
That's
or who's
true.
streaming
That's
or whatever.
True.
And then I'll just kind of hop in and chat with them for a little bit and then maybe go to bed.
Yeah,
or
that's
like
true.
for a while we had like a watch party where there was a show we were all watching every week, and so we
Is that so chaotic? How does that work? I wanted to do something like that. I got way too
so
scared.
much
I was like,
fun.
I do not know how to.
It is a blast.
Yeah. Okay.
It also has to do with the show we were watching because it's ridiculous. But there was like 10 of us at least. Like every Tuesday night, we were in Discord. Somebody's streaming it in Discord, and we're all watching. We'll take breaks to pause and commentate, or somebody's got to go to the bathroom. So like we know it's an hour show, and we know it's going to take us 2 hours to watch it because we're all ridiculous.
That's actually shorter than I thought. I thought it'd take like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh no, we're better about it than that. And like we turn on subtitles and stuff, and like there's just like a level of like respect of like we all are here to watch this. Like we all want to watch it. So it's like keep your commentary relevant. Like don't be talking about what you had for lunch earlier today in the middle of the show.
How do you organize that? I feel like it would be like herding cats. Like don't talk about your commentary of what you had for lunch. People would be like just trying to, I don't know, or they wouldn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that wasn't really with like my stream community. That was like more of my community of friends. So it's a little bit different.
That's different.
I do know some people who do it with their community, and they will make a Discord channel where everyone automatically, when they join, they're just muted.
Oh, I see. Okay,
so,
that's
and then
they'll
watch a movie together, and there will be a text chat so people can talk in the text chat, and then it doesn't interrupt from other people wanting to watch.
That's a good idea.
But for that show, for instance, it was just me and my friends, like through Twitch and Discord and whatever.
Sense.
And so it's just like we have that mutual respect of each other, and like it's already built.
You know it.
Yeah, I also think that most people that are going to like say join your Discord or whatever are people who actually want to be there and want to be involved in the community.
Yeah. It's like a filter. Like I would say if you're trying to grow, then you use a different social platform to get exposure, because Twitch is horrible exposure. Unless you're a YouTube streamer, that's different. I'm not familiar, but I've heard that's a lot easier. So, and Facebook too. But so you use a different social platform to get exposure. Then people come to your Twitch. Usually you build relationships there, and then they'll go into your Discord as like the close ones, and it's sort of like the funnel down there.
Exactly. Because I mean, like I'm not even in all of my friends' Discords because I would have 10,000 Discords.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm not, and I'm so bad at like responding, and then you have to keep up with chat and stuff.
Yeah.
But
that's the other thing too that I'm horrible about with Discord is like I have all notifications muted except for DMs. So it's like if you want my attention,
my DMs are even muted.
Like if you want my attention, you DM me, you text me, you call me, like something. Like you have to signify that to me that it is worth more than just like a hey.
Yeah.
Like
some people do that. Which, and if I'm around to say hey, of course I will. But for the most part,
absolutely.
For the most part. So what's next for you? Because you just got your promotion, you're gonna be traveling less. Like, what's the plan? What are you gonna be doing? Are you like tell me about next steps.
I guess next steps for me. So like I just got promoted. I technically started
today.
My new position like today and yesterday. But it officially like starts first of the year. I am still going to have to travel like every couple months, but the goal for me right now is to basically, once the start of the year hits, is to start having at least a semi-consistent schedule. Like at least if I can say I'm going to stream 3 days a week or 2 days a week, that may not always be on the same day, but like I'm gonna do it. Like I want to be able to tell people that so that like they know that they can be looking for something.
They can catch you at least.
Like turn your notifications on Twitch. Like I'm
I
going
need to do that.
Be on
Thanks for
at
reminding
least
me.
multiple times. Yeah. And I don't have my notifications on for everybody, but the people that I like care and like genuinely want to be there.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to like that show. Like I have people that like, for instance, when I'm at work, I watch the same person while I'm at work almost every day, and I'm just lurking. I don't even talk and chat that much.
Yeah.
You know,
We
and so
love
it's
our
like them, I
lurkers.
have their notifications on or whatever. Like I have your notifications on because I'm like, the one time she's going to stream in a blue moon, like, God damn it, I want to be there. You know?
I'm so scared my internet's gonna crap out again the second I'm like, okay, I'm ready, I'm good. That happened to me because I took a little break, and then the second I came back, I was like, I'm ready, we're gonna be consistent. Internet just went completely, and everyone's like, where'd you go? It's like, oh no, then I had to call the internet service provider. It was a mess, but yeah. Okay.
For me, it's just it's gonna start building something. Like I actually want to start like getting clips and posting clips and like actually like putting myself out there on other socials. No.
You know which socials you're gonna use, or like, are you trying to get, like, do you have goals? Or are you just kind of like gonna expose yourself a bit more and see, or get more exposure and then see what comes? Like, do you have any games you're playing, or is it just kind of like, I'm gonna try to take this a little more seriously, a little more consistently, and then see what happens?
So I don't want to take it seriously for any sort of reason other than like having a community and like the people who do want to watch my streams that want to be there to be there. Like I don't intend, like if it happens, great. I would be absolutely ecstatic.
Now you're gonna blow up. Now you're gonna be like one of the top streamers in the world.
I fucking wish.
Because literally it's people with the attitude.
Yeah, like my goal is not to go out there and make a shit ton of money and like make a career out of this. If it happens, absolutely great. But like my goal is more of just the same of like, I just want to be who I am. I want to enjoy playing games with people. And like the whole reason I started streaming in the first place was because I wanted to make friends. I wanted to have people to play with. I wanted to like somebody to be able to come into my chat, relate to maybe something, you know, on a deeper level than just like surface level gaming.
That's why I started streaming, because I was thinking about it, and well, I thought it was gonna be really easy, and I was like, I'm gonna blow up. I'm a girl, like it was not. No. It was not easy. But then right when I realized like, okay, that's not how this works, it was very quick. And being new to gaming and being like, I was playing in easier lobbies, and this was when Apex wasn't as toxic. It was a lot better. Like that was the goal, was to meet people and have friends, especially because it was during COVID. So that was the main way of connecting. And then when I realized how good, like how incredible connections were, it's like, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah. So for me, it's like, as of right now, like my plans to like post clips on TikTok and, you know, stuff like that. But like, I don't have any plans to like hire an editor or something. You know, like I'm not going like nuclear with it. Like I want to start somewhere, and I just kind of want to let it happen naturally. Like I want to I want to put work into it because I'm having fun. I don't want it to become something where it's a job and it's a chore and it's no longer fun to me.
Yeah, which happens very quickly, and even like it's a lot, and that's why too. Like, take your breaks if you need it. For anyone who's a streamer and needed to hear that, like it, even when you're not trying to, especially if you're somebody who is always like, I'm very competitive. I want to grow. I always like to do something for an outcome, but sometimes it really just is like, have fun and like remember why you did it, and everything else will come. And then like, because you don't want to get burnt out, because that sucks. You know,
because the moment that it starts to become like a job and like a chore, and like, because there are some people where it is their job, it is their only source of income. But the moment that it starts to not be fun and feel like a chore and you're not enjoying it anymore, that to me is when your stream is going to plateau.
Yes.
Because like even just watching some streamers that I've watched forever, like I have watched it become more of a chore to them, where they're not having as much fun and they're not enjoying it. And then being there in their Twitch chat is just not as entertaining anymore. Like
you can like feel it.
Like I can feel that you're not having fun. Like you're not enjoying your time.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you here?
Yeah. Like I want to enjoy it. I want to always enjoy it. And like that's
your goal.
That's what made me love gaming in the first place, was that I didn't have the ability to game, and then I really liked it. I started doing it, and that's what was fun to me. And I don't want to ruin video games for myself. I don't want to ruin any of that for myself simply because I make it unfun because I'm trying too hard to reach some astronomical goal.
That's really difficult, especially if you're on Twitch. Like it's really tough. So I think that was great. Well, thank you so much. We're gonna have to wrap up here. Do you have any final words or anything else that you want to say before we end? No?
No,
Okay.
I can't wait for you to start streaming and us to play games together more, but that's about it.
It'll be soon. It'll be soon. And I'm excited for you to start streaming, and I'm gonna turn my notifications on so I can pop in.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited to start streaming again because people ask me all the time. They're like, "You need to stream more."
Yeah, you do. You do. I'm super psyched for that.
So.
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect.
Well,
Well, this has been fun. Thanks for having me on.